I'm the best boxer in the UFC, baby, as Max Holloway once famously said. But let's answer the question, who is really the best boxer in the UFC? Is it Max Holloway or is it someone else? In this video, hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam.
In my opinion, the question is not even that hard to answer, and Max Holloway is definitely not the best boxer in the UFC. And I'll tell you why. For me, the question, who is the best boxer in the UFC, you have to look at the sweet science of boxing, right? The question, who is the best boxer, does not mean who has the most knockouts or whatever. It's none of that. It's who in the UFC has the most efficient boxing style, who has the best technique, all the facets of a boxer, right? It's not like, if you look at Max Holloway, for example, none of his whole boxing or style is like the sweet science of boxing, like the real boxing style. What you see if you watch professional boxing, you know what I mean? Max Holloway has never really done any head movement or anything, and most of his strikes are just long, lunging strikes. It's not really like beautiful technical striking, because for me, the technique is the number one thing I'm looking for if I'm looking for the best boxer in the UFC. The technique is number one for me. And what comes behind it is all the facets of the head movements, the footwork and all of that. All those things factor into who's really the best boxer in the UFC. Right, so that's why Max Holloway is not even in the list. Max Holloway is a great martial artist. He has good hands, but he's not I don't think Max Holloway would do well if he would go and fight boxing. I don't think Max Holloway would be a successful boxer. I really don't think so, and I'm a huge fan of Max Holloway. But I gotta say it, Max Holloway is a phenomenal fighter. He uses his hands very well, but he's by far not the best boxer in the UFC. For me, it is very simple to say Jack Della Maddalena and Ilia Topuria are the two best boxers right now in the UFC. Just talking about technique, all the things I've mentioned before, those two guys have such phenomenal boxing. The way they work the body, come up to the head again, evade punches, like it's just beautiful. Their footwork, everything is just amazing.
Muhammad, the best defense in the heavyweight, the best move in the heavyweight.
Those are the only two guys that I would say, hey, you're UFC fighters, but I will put my money on you that you could win a world title in boxing if you really wanted to. If you would transition over and put some time in there, you know what I mean? Those two guys have phenomenal boxing, and as I said, that does not mean that they have the most knockouts or something. That has nothing to do with that. Otherwise, Alex Pereira will probably be the best boxer in the UFC right now. But Alex Pereira is the best kickboxer in the UFC right now. You see the difference? In my opinion, the number one, the guy who's the number one, the best boxer in the UFC right now for me is Ilia Topuria. And it's a pretty close call between Ilia and Jack Della Maddalena, but JDM just had more of a struggle with his style recently, I felt like, against Kevin Holland and stuff, against Basil Hafiz. Like his hands and his boxing were not always as efficient as for Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria really never had anyone really challenge him with the hands. The only time Ilia ever got in real trouble was when he got rocked with a head kick by Kai Herbert, right? I don't know, anyways. With a head kick, but in just pure boxing, Ilia never had a problem with anyone. And he faced all kinds of different styles. He faced the technical fighters, the long-ranging ones like J Herbert. Anyways, he faced the crazy overhand power punchers like Josh Emmett. He faced the technical all-rounders like Volkanovski, like the grapplers like Bryce Mitchell. Like his boxing works against everyone. He managed to either finish or at least hurt every single one of his opponents. There's not one Ilia Topuria fight in the UFC where he did not hurt his opponents with his hands. And I think the best example for his boxing is the fight against Josh Emmett. I mean, that was a 5-round masterclass of his boxing. A pure masterclass. Watch this fight. The footwork, the head movement, the the coming in and out of range with the body work, with coming up to the head again. Like, it was just a complete miracle of a performance, honestly, in terms of boxing. It was just a beauty to watch. And in my opinion, this is the only right answer to the question who the best boxer in the UFC is. Ilia El Matador Topuria is the best boxer in the UFC. I know a lot of you will disagree with me, but write your picks in the comments, you guys. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, I would appreciate that. Check out the Bloodsport merch, bloodshop.net, new collection just dropped, the Bloodsport University collection. Check it out, we're about free shipping with the code FREE. Stay bloody, you guys. Until the next one, bye-bye. Bloodsport out.